YouTube. Hey, you know who it is. It's your boy, CBR Kid. Hey, we're coming right back at you. Just giving you guys an update. So, last time we spoke, I said I needed to do the clutch install on that '08 behind me, and that didn't work out so well. There's one tool that I'm missing that's going to make the job a lot harder than it needs to be. So we're going to hold off on that. Now we're still going to do the track day tomorrow. I told you guys before, if I couldn't get the '08 done, then I would just ride the 17 and just hang out for the track day. But I'm not going to do that either. What I am going to do is I'm going to get the 600 ready. Since it is a Shenandoah circuit, I don't need a leader bike for that. A leader bike is actually too much for that track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride the '05 CBR 600. You guys can see it right behind me. It's already up on the jack stands. Tail section's already removed. So what I'm going to do is get the oil changed. Got a new battery for it. I'm going to get that all ready to go into the bike. And we're going to clean it up. Make sure it's ready for tomorrow. Set the tire pressure. Do everything that we need to do to get it ready to ride tomorrow. So we're going to go into that, and we're going to get that done. So we're going to get started on that. So first up is we're going to show you guys what we have to get this bike ready for tomorrow. So what we have, guys, is we have the Mobil 1 10W40. It's full synthetic oil formulated for sport bikes. All right, we're going to put that in. Normally I would go with the Honda branded oil, but today is Sunday, so there's no shops open where I can get that. All right, we got the K&N oil filter. I'm sorry. So we'll go ahead and swap that out because this bike definitely needs that. And then we had to pick up a battery. So again, normally I would go with the Yuasa battery or one of the batteries that I would normally get from one of the motorcycle dealers. But being Sunday, I had to go with what was available. So we got the Autocraft Power Sports battery, which will get me through the track day tomorrow. And you guys see, this is one of those batteries where you actually have to fill the battery, all right, with acid and then charge it up. So I have to remove this red label, and then the acid is in this box. Is they're already set up and ready to go for you. So you have those in there, and what you do is you take this label off. All right, stick the acid containers on just like that, and they'll fill up. You let it sit for a minute, let it settle. Check to see if you need to add any more. If you need to add some more, you do that. Seal it up. They give you a plastic sealer. You see in the bag, that black plastic piece is what seals the battery. Then I'll put it on the battery tender for about an hour, and it should be good to go. So we're going to do that and get that going, and then we're going to remove, you see we got the lower section, the lower cowling on the bike. We're going to remove that. So it's just these two lock nuts that just twist right on out. And then there's a screw back by the kickstand right here, that bolt right there. This guy, we'll take him out, and then we'll just drop that off, and that'll give us access to the drain bolt. That'll give us access to the oil filter. We'll pop all of that stuff off and be ready to rock and roll. So instead of being number 23 tomorrow, it'll be number 15. All right, so I'm going to get started on that, and you guys give me, I'll get set up, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. All right, guys, off camera, I had to go put my rubber gloves on. I also took the red sealant strip off of the battery. So now I'm going to go ahead and also unpack the acid. I needed both hands to do that. Couldn't hold the camera and do that at the same time. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and fill this battery. So basically, you see the battery already has, the acid is already sealed. So you don't take this foil off. If you look closely in the battery, you'll see it has actual, I don't know what you call those things, but they basically puncture this aluminum seal and allow the acid to fill the battery. So we're going to do that. So we're going to line this up, and then we push down. Oh, Nope, almost made a mess. That's why we wear the gloves, just in case. So again, we're going to try this again. All right, we're going to push down. And I can't tell. Doesn't look like it's doing anything. So let me do it again. Let's move that stuff out of the way. Now we're going to move this stuff back. And hold on for a second, guys. Doesn't look like it's doing much. Let's see what the problem is. All right, now had to use two hands, guys, but you can see the acid is going into the battery. And part of the reason you want to wear gloves when you do this is this acid will burn you. All right, it's definitely toxic. They tell you that in the instructions, so I don't want to find out the hard way, so I just follow instructions. So once that's full, we're going to take our seal. We're going to seal the battery up, and we're going to put it on the trickle charger, all right, aka the battery tender, and then we'll let that charge for about an hour, and we should be good to go according to manufacturer specifications. All right, so we're going to get that done. All right, this looks like these are just about empty, so it's taking everything. There's nothing to let sit at this point, because everything is going to be out of the bottle and in the battery. Looks like that's just about done, if you guys can see that. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I can. So yeah, you see there's nothing left in there. So we're going to take that off. All right, can we get that off? Let's see. Don't want to make much of them. There we go. All right, so that's off. We're going to toss that in the box. All right, and then we're going to take and put this right on top, and we're going to seal this battery up. All right, you see that? How that goes, and you just push down on each individual hole until it's nice and flat down in there. All right, sorry about all the camera movement, guys. All right, and now that's done. All right, so now we're going to bring the battery over here, and you guys can see I already have the battery tender ready to go. All right, what I'm going to do is I actually ran an extension cord over here so I wouldn't have to move around too much. So I'm going to plug the tender in to our extension cord, just like, well, you guys know how to plug something in, so I have to show you that. All right, so see the battery tender's flashing, it's on. And again, for my non-riders out there, this is just a trickle charger. So what it will do, this will start to charge the battery. Once the battery's fully charged, the trickle charger, it will keep it charged at the correct voltage. It won't overcharge it, which would damage the battery. All right, so we're going to take and make sure, now if you notice, each terminal is marked positive or negative and positive. All right, and the battery also, yes, the battery. So you guys can see I've got the lower cowling off of the bike. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change this oil. And I want to point some things out to you guys. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Alright, so if you notice, if you look right here, this is the drain bolt for the oil. But if you notice, it has this pin going through it, and it's kind of like a lock nut. So that's pretty much for track use. Alright, so it's called and then it's wired up to another bracket just up above it. And when you ride on the track or you race, you know, you do what's called safety wiring. So if something were to happen, I would crash, you know, this would come out or whatever. It wouldn't be, you know, of course oil would spill on the track, but you wouldn't have parts flying all over. This is still attached to the bike. And then for this particular bike, my least favorite part, if you guys can see in between there, right here where my finger is, that's the oil filter. That's the one thing I don't like about this particular bike, is that oil filter sits right behind the exhaust pipes. Alright, so when I take the filter off, oil spills, you know, it can get on the pipes, and then when the bike heats up, you're smoking a little bit until that oil burns off. Now what I'll do when I do this is I will cover those pipes as best I can, so that there's as little oil on the pipes as possible, but I've never been able to do it 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to get back with you guys. We'll tighten that up. We're going to do some cleanup of the bike. We're going to do some safety checks, braking and everything, and we'll also set the air, put air in the tires, set the proper air pressure, and make sure everything else is running smoothly. Refill it with oil, and then we'll be good to go. All right, at least for one track day. So I'll get back with you guys shortly. All right, guys. So we got our oil changed. So, well, we got the oil drain, we got the filter changed out, All right, that was a bit of a pain in the butt because this one had been on there a while, so it was pretty stuck. I didn't have an oil filter wrench to fit, so I had to use a actual pipe wrench to get that thing off. All right, so the next thing, not the last thing. The next thing we have to do is just go ahead and refill the crankcase with oil, because that would be disastrous if we forgot to do that. So I've already removed the oil cap. You guys don't need to see that. But for all my folks out there, normally in your car you have a dipstick where you can, you fill your oil, and then you can go ahead and check and see what the fill level is, once you put all your oil in. Well, on this particular bike, the 2005, we don't have a dipstick. But what we do have is a window that shows us how much oil is in the bike. So I'm going to show you guys that right now. It's empty. And then as I fill it, you'll see that you'll begin to see the oil come into that window, so you can tell what the level is of how much oil is in the bike. So if you guys can see, you see this window right here, it's clear right now. There's nothing in there. All right. As I put oil in the bike, you'll start to see the oil come into view in that little window, and that tells us how much oil we have when we're full. If I zoom in a little closer, you can actually see their fill lines. One at the bottom that's for low, one for high. We don't want to go above this line. And I've even talked to some racers for track usage. They go with about half. But I'm actually going to go to the top fill line, and then that'll take care of our oil change. All right. So I'm going to do that now. Then I want to come back and show you guys what that looks like. All right, guys, so you guys can see, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit darker now because the oil's there. I went a little bit over what I said I was going to go, but that's okay. That'll be all right. Some of that oil gets sucked into the filter anyway, so that's just fine. So the next thing we got to do is, looks like our battery's all charged up over there. Yep, battery's all charged up. So I'm going to swap the battery out and get this thing started for you guys. All right, folks. So for my non-riders out there, it's real simple. Just take this screw out, pull the battery cables off, take this rubber belt off, battery comes out, put the new battery in, and reverse the process. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and get this bike started. All right, guys. Things did not go as planned. As you guys can see, the bike is all apart. All right, all but the front upper cowling. So we got the oil changed, we got the battery in, turned the bike on, no power. So we checked the fuses, checked the couldn't find any bad wiring. Not sure what's going on. Now I guess the silver lining in the dark cloud is that I got a phone call about 20 minutes ago that the track day is canceled anyway. So I will not be at the track tomorrow, unfortunately, but I got something else to bring to you guys. We got more parts. So I'll bring that to you guys tomorrow. But for now, I'm just going to button this back up. This bike will go back to storage. And if all goes well, we'll be back out at the track a week from tomorrow. There's another track day that we can do with a different organization, but we'll get back out there a week from tomorrow, and we should have the 08 all ready to go by then. All right, that basically buys me a week time to get that squared away. I got to order a tool that's going to allow me to take off the lock nut that's inside the clutch basket on that bike, which is why I didn't do that today. I didn't have that tool, and I didn't want to mess around and damage that lock nut. So that's where we are. But hey, we got the wrench a little bit, so that was fun. And unfortunately, we won't get to ride, at least on the track tomorrow. I can take the bike out and ride it to work or something like that, but I would have rather put it on the track. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up, get everything buttoned up so I can get this back into storage tomorrow. Throughout sometime during the week, we'll get that clutch done, and then we'll be ready to go for Monday. All right. So to all my riders out there, you guys be safe, All right, remember, keep the shiny side up, keep the rubber side down, and I will see you guys in the next one.